Well, we love this time of year for the anthems that we get to hear belted out with such passion and fervour. And there's every bit of that in this fixture this evening. Belgium had a played 3-1-1, lost 2 record on their tour of the South Americas last July. Managed to get the win against Paraguay. Our referee this evening, Shota Tevsadze, the Georgian in charge of his 15th Test match. Be assisted by Saba Makaradze and Shoti Sagarashvili. Our TMO is Josep Japaridze. They were beaten 33-5 by Chile, Belgium. They beat Paraguay, as I mentioned, having conceded first. Tour concluded with a 47-25 loss to Brazil. Portugal, of course, those 2 November tests, they were both losses at home, 21-17 to the USA, and in Murrayfield, 59-21 to Scotland. But this is all about their Rugby Europe Championship campaign. It's part of World Cup 2027 qualification. The top 4 teams that reach the semi-finals will book their tickets to Australia for the expanded 24-team tournament in a couple of years. The winner of the 5th place playoff will take their place in the final qualification tournament in November. So plenty at stake, not just for the bragging rights within Europe, but of course for their future on the world stage.
Thank you. Go early, guys. Wait for the kick. Captain. Good. Ready?
There's the strains of Sweet Caroline die out. It's Belgium who get the game started.
Stay. Use it, 9.
His job is Samuel Marks, making sure that his players are behind him, persuaded out of retirement by Simon Mannix, his former coach at Po. Portugal showing Belgium the door by using the touchline.
Such experience we've come to see so often from Samuel Marks in that red jersey. And over in France, of course, he's just so controlled of that kickoff. Not always easy in the opening moments.
Good tap down from the top. Straight into midfield, but they're happy to release it out the back. And already they're putting real pressure on the backfield of the Belgians. Shimal Bento encouraged to come forwards, but recognising that Belgium have managed to secure possession successfully, he's able to drop back.
Ball is here.
Portugal appealing a turnover, but they're not getting the reward. Well, in fact, the ball has popped out this side. I don't know how it got there. Neither do Belgium, no likely. But it's Vasco Baptista. Back in, low drive from David Costa. Madeira there for Marks. Options coming round the corner, but they look to go in the wider channels. And is it just going to open up? Oh, of course it is. Jose Lima on that outside arc. And worrying signs for Belgium that it's just the first time that Portugal really get into an attacking shape. And they've got over the line.
Yeah, finished off beautifully. Joris Moura, the one with the footwork at the end, getting it back, going on that outside arc. The little stutter step just to beat the last man and then flop over the line. A beautiful bit of attacking play from Portugal. It actually all came from the set piece back at the line out. They put a lovely kick in behind.
It
was well covered by Hugo de Frank, the Belgian 10, but
30
too much pressure from Portugal, turning the ball over and then capitalising with a lovely bit of attack. The timing of the runners coming round the corner was excellent.
Quite right, Joris Moura, the man who was able to get the touchdown. Thought they'd gone wide enough that Lima had to be the one, but it was Moura who got there, the man who plays at Valence Romans Club. Was part of that Rugby World Cup in 2023, and the conversion successful. Portugal 7 points to the good.
Stay.
Marks is there.
Use 9.
So often using the almost sacrificial lamb of his loose head just to say, you're going to be our doorstop, you're going to be the one to take it on physically. Contest in the air.
Contest was good.
There we go, we can hear our referee saying that the contest was good. He's happy enough.
Contest was good.
It's an incredibly brave effort from Sorinen coming in from deep in the backfield. He climbed up so high, almost too high, because he actually ends up right on the back. Oh, and that's nasty fall. Really relieved to see him sitting up after that. Good contest, like everything fair in it, but an uncomfortable one. Good to see him up and about. Great leap, great hops. That's what you want to see from your fullback.
Oh!
Decent work from Max Hendricks.
Wait.
Portugal's challenge, or rather Belgium's challenge, is going to be
Use 9.
getting over that gain line when they're in possession. Working against that red wall.
Use 9.
He did well. Mark sends it infield.
Stay. Carry it in.
Diogo Hasse Ferreira earning a 47th cap. That was a better take from Cernan. Dazzy Cornez quickly looking to use it.
Stay. Use 9.
Just maintaining momentum, keeping going forward is going to be part of the order of the day for this Belgian side.
You can't play the
In fact,
9.
they've earned themselves a penalty.
You can't play the 9.
It's a nice bit of relief. Portugal just getting a little bit too over-eager. If you turn the ball over early, you think they might be there every time. Infringing on that one gives Belgium a chance just to get a decent foothold. I hope they take off a big chunk, and they have. That's a nice kick. It'll be an interesting challenge for the Belgians with that front five. They back themselves with their pack,
Thank you.
and they'll be excited about the contest that they've got against the Portuguese. We see that try. It's a tough one when you concede so early. It will really settle this Portuguese team into the game. But chance here for Belgium to bounce back into it, and using that pack, which I said they do see as a strength of theirs.
In from Alex Renier, earning a 14th cap and getting his hands back on the ball at the back of that maul. This is a really good position for the Belgians. Such a low-scoring affair a year ago. Now, shifting it, getting it through Lima, trying to find a bit more room in the wide channels for Vincent Pinto. And away from March, quick service.
No hand.
Nice little midfield dink, that was good from Marx. It was punched back on the knuckle from the skipper Jens Torfs. Portugal going off their feet at that ruck really to try and compete.
Thank you, Seven.
Belgium have done well.
Stop. Good now.
It felt like the right option, Tom, to make that clearance, but just overcooking it out on the full in the end.
Yeah, as he kicked it, I thought that's come off sweet, and it actually turned out to be too good a connection. He's put it straight out, and that's a bit of a killer, but it's the second time in this match already the kick in behind's been utilised by Portugal, and actually the second time that Hugo de Franck, the Belgian 10, who's back there covering it, has got across and done really smart work, but they're putting Belgium under pressure as a result.
Marx needs to be careful that the assistant runners coming around the corner are staying behind the ball, almost arriving a little too keen, a little too urgently as Jose Madeira, 40th cap for him this evening, comes onto it. Portugal building again here in the Belgian 22. Solid connection and drive back in the tackle. Jean-Maurice de Cuba. Now Marks sensing where it's going to try and open up. Appleton fires it away. Can we see the finish? Yes, we can. It's Rodrigo Marta. Man replacing Lucas Martin from the Scotland game and coming into the lineup to get Portugal's second in Lisbon.
Wonderful finish, no mistake for Mata in the corner. Little injection of speed before stepping inside. It was delicious, it was delightful, but there's space and there's loads of it out here. You can see there the accelerate takes the defender's opposite man on the out before stepping back inside. Textbook finish from the winger. But this space was created by loads around the corner work. You mentioned it, Nick, that the runners were getting so flat to the line of Samuel Marks, the 9. He was just orchestrating it and they were just punching in tight before exploiting the space that had been created on the width. Really, really good execution from Portugal for their second try.
A little wider out for Marks to try and nail it from here, but he swung that right peg through it beautifully. It's an excellent conversion. Converting the try scored by Marta, played in the under-20s trophy in 2017, Marta and 2019. Also played a bit of international sevens, like our co-commentator Tom Mitchell. Another one on that Rugby World Cup squad, and Marks has 4 points to his own tally. Lines cleared.
I haven't seen a huge amount of the Belgian attack yet. Kind of coughed a couple up early, but the problem for them really has been how quickly they've conceded. They can hold on to the ball here, it'd be key.
Gillian Benoit brings the ball down. It was an exemplary line out. Great darts from Rainier. That's just floated a little bit too far though. Madeira got in the way of the passing channel as well, which... Well, Vincent Pinto's gone diving in there.
Stay on side, Red.
Charge down, Madeira. Wanting to put himself in all sorts of uncomfortable places from a Belgian perspective.
Use
Just
that
want to see
nine.
if the Belgians can threaten this Portuguese backline, but just might be an area they don't want to find themselves too overexposed, so they kept it in the forwards as much as they can. But here goes Simão Bento. There's lovely footwork as well from Pinto. Now, Portuguese looking dangerous once more, with a little pump. Marks with options left and right. Opts to go to the man who scored the first try, Joris Moura. Just not quite on the same script for a moment there as Marta pops up in midfield. Bento. Seeing a mix of players in at first receiver. No, we're just trying the what I might call the classic Johnny Sexton give and loot round, but didn't quite work out for Portugal that time. Well, they've maintained possession this whole time. The Belgians have actually been the one to find themselves coming further upfield. Where is the ball in there? This may well be a Belgian... Oh, referee's decided it's unplayable, but in such a way that Portugal were going forward, so they will still maintain possession, but that could easily have gone the other way.
Well, I wouldn't have wanted to be the referee of that decision. It could have gone, it was a bit of a melee and a mess, but a real win for Belgium, actually, because Portugal have looked very comfortable flowing onto the ball, attack going forward. That's the first time in the match that Belgium have managed to just stem the flow and not only do that, but actually gain ground. And if they turned that ball over, it would have been a real win. Here we can see the ball going to deck. I tell you what, if that's a better kick downfield into a very interesting foot race. Would have liked to have seen Dazi Kone get after that. Didn't quite get the contact on the boot. Good effort at the counter-ruck here. I'd like to see more of this from Belgium. They need to try and disrupt that Portuguese ruck, because when they're comfortable at ruck time, Portugal, they're just too cruisy, flowing around the corner, getting runners coming onto the ball. And I don't think Belgium will be able to stem the flow unless they're able to disrupt ball, slow it down at ruck time. So whether that's the back row, the likes of Brasseur and Dukube getting in there and having some fun, they need to do something. Try and have an intervention.
Of course, the former England Sevens captain Tom Mitchell, who was with us. Marks through Mora. Nobody coming onto the ball at pace, though. It's really well dealt with defensively. Super from Florian Remu. It's absolutely dumped Portugal into touch.
That's brilliant. And this is exactly the kind of momentum that Belgium need to try and foster in this game. Whether they're doing it with ball in hand or in defensive mode, as they do here, really, really nice. Tracking work initially by Florian Remu. His twin brother not available. He's injured, the Toulouse man, so we're not going to see him in the squad for a couple of rounds.
Knock on, Red.
And speaking of injured players, there's no Rafael Astorti. Oh, that's a lovely bit of footwork. Super stuff from Max Hendricks, or from Dukube, I should say.
Away, 6. Number 6, you need to roll away.
Penalty goes away at Belgium.
You need to roll away fast. No.
It's going to be the option here.
Number 6 not rolling away.
Definitely the case, Tom, isn't it, that when you have these sort of teams, look, Portugal ranked 16th in the world at the minute. Belgians, who are 28th, they're looking to go for the posts and get some points on the board. It's a little bit like when you watch those, perhaps, English Premiership matches when they're in cup games against Championship sides. Those sort of equivalent matches. You basically just want to show some of these very polished, more elite players that they can still come up against a gnarly old prop every now and then.
I don't know a huge amount about gnarly old props, Nick, and I think trying to pigeonhole them as such will get you in deep trouble. But great bit of nothing gnarly about a bit of footwork from Dukube. That was beautiful from the slightly slight stature blindside flanker.
Yeah, he's not one of the biggest, is he? But that was certainly the mobility that they want to see, and the flags go up. Belgians have their first points of the match.
I think that's exactly the right decision as well. Get the 3 points on the board, capitalise off that momentum, which was essentially built off some defensive work, and it's led to some points on the board. I quite like it. I mentioned Jean-Maurice Dukube and slightly smaller stature, but when you've got footwork like that, it adds a different dimension. And he is a good player. Applied his trade at Van and like a few of these guys. And he's got good energy about him.
Line out or
Yeah, and how often do you see that? You talk about these matchups when suddenly the team that is comfortable favourites coming in, which I think is fair to say, based on previous form and the record books. They just get a little bit rattled in moments.
Very good, guys. Thank you. Try to keep like that.
No doubt, there's enough experience across the board. I mean, so many familiar combinations in this Portuguese outfit, which is interesting for me. Of course, that centre partnership of Appleton and Lima. The interesting one is the 9-10 combo. It's only the second time that those two have played together, but of course Samuel March so experienced that he'll steer the ship regardless of who's around him. Does feel like a bit of a moment for Belgium, though. They've got to capitalise on this. Plenty of
Well,
rugby
certainly.
still to play, but you've got to take your moments.
Well, the penalty will certainly give them hope as well if they can get themselves into areas in the Portuguese half and question their discipline. They could continue to build a score, and then once you start to put that doubt in the opposition's mind, sport can be a fickle mistress.
Yeah, they've got to capitalise probably early on in the match. I think the deeper it goes into the 80, and as substitutions and changes come on, I'm not sure how well they'll be able to match the bench that will come on for Portugal. It's no disrespect to the Belgian players, but depth is something that also often is the difference between some of the top sides in this competition and the others.
To go down the short side. Oh, they found a bit of room here as well. Belgium absolutely flying. Ball back inside. Oh, it's a superb try. Hugo de Frank finishing it off, was it? Well, de Frank was in there, but what a score. How about that from the Belgians? Direct running. It's Florian Rameau, the scorer. Beautiful stuff.
Well, what do we say? We talked about capitalising when you felt like it's a bit of wind in your sails, and there was plenty of wind behind the skipper, Jens Torfs, searing through a gap in the defence. And a beautiful lift out the back door, just as he can feel himself going down towards the deck. Pressure coming across in the form of despairing Portuguese defenders. And the sleight of hand, backdoor boogie inside to his centre partner, Rameau. A wonderful score for Belgium. Really good, energetic, dynamic attack from them.
And the conversion from de Frank, the other blonde-haired man. Belgium get themselves up to double figures. They've reeled in Portugal after those first two early tries.
Wait for the keep, guys. Back form. Hey.
But the good news is, Tom Mitchell, we've had more points scored in the first quarter of this game than in the entire 80 last year, so we've got a game on.
Don't help him. Ball is here.
What a relief, Nick. What a relief for all of us. Although
nine.
exciting as it was at the close out of that one, I'm happy to see a few more tries going in already in the first 20 minutes.
Stay on side wide.
Marta with the take. Jose Rebelo Andrade, brother on the bench. Oh,
Deco.
lovely dummy.
Hold.
It's the big second row. Gillian Benoit
Very good, guys.
deputising at scrum half.
Stay on side, Red.
Big frame of Max Jadot, who led the team out on the occasion of his 50th. For a try in last year's win against Poland, did Jadot. Now this is going to be returned. Oh, and it's just fly hacked on. But are there enough players moving in an onside position? In fact, it was for a high shot.
I wanted to see how that one ended up. It was a kick straight back into the traffic. A few ricochets on the way through. It was like that when it breaks up. It's not a bad tactic, you know. If you can't quite make the ball for a catch, you just put it straight on the boot, because no one's expecting it. Whereas when you catch the ball and you set up for a kick, generally it means the opposition team can read it.
And half the fun is it will go anywhere. It's another solid Belgian line out. I think they've got themselves a penalty here. Scorer Remu having to get in there and help protect it. We're going to come back as we were under advantage the whole time.
We're playing under the advantage, yes. They will go back and they won't be too concerned about it. But actually, there was something we've seen a couple of times from Belgium with their attack, is that when they pull the ball back, they're just inviting the Portuguese defence to come up onto them, and then they lose that impetus. They lose that ability to actually run decisive, hard cutting lines. I think they're better off just playing in that front line. Admittedly, he needs a little bit of deception, but the more they pull the ball back in almost those bailout passes, I just think Portugal are reading it too easily and pushing through, and they're losing a little bit of that go forward. But this is where the penalty was, breaking the bind. I think the referee said coming through at the maul from Portugal.
Got another super take at the back. Benoit will just continue to work that relationship with Radiate. Jadot going through to make the clearance. It was the Belgians who were more in trouble with their discipline in last year's championship. They averaged the highest number of penalties conceded, 45 over the course of the championship, averaging 9 a game. But it's the Portuguese that are conceding a lot here, and you wonder whether it's time for Thomas Appleton to receive a bit of a chat.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. He's going to have a word here, the referee, and this is interesting to hear the wording, the warning. I suspect the next one may well be the yellow card, which would be particularly interesting with a fair bit of this first half still to play. Good pressure here from Belgium. You say, oh, what a beautiful line out it was. Back ball, taken, double tops. Lovely work from the forwards that set that up. A really smart decision here as well. That area of the field, it's always so tempting just to poke it into the corner. And you think, oh, we've had a couple of good lineouts, we'll go for another one. But they can bag themselves another 3 here, make it a one-point ball game, then they're in a really good place.
Well, Hugo de Frank has certainly brought the kicking boots. Got the only try of the 10-6 win last year. Flags go up once again. Excellent game management and pressure from Belgium, forcing Portugal into the errors, and having gone 14 points to 0 down, they brought it back to a 1-point game now.
So important. They deal with this restart now. If I was them, I'd set up very quickly, get the ball back down the other end of the park. And the way Portugal are giving away penalties, they'll be in a good spot.
That did work out well for them. Akuma found himself the recipient. Fired back to the front. And it's there being returned by Bento. Oh, where's the ball gone? Didn't quite sit up as he might have expected it. Belgium have gone quickly here.
Stay red. Rock forward.
It comes in from Hasse Pereira.
Stay on side red. 5.
Oh, that is an infuriating handling error. The coach killer. Too concerned over what needed to happen next. Just didn't quite get hold of the pill, and it's enough to have brought the ironic cheers from the home fans that would really like to see their Portugal side get themselves further away from the Belgians.
I said off the kickoff, just after they'd scored, the best thing would have been to put the ball deep into Portuguese territory. They did put boot to ball, but it was a poor one. Even the ball didn't even make its way to the boot on this occasion. Tell you what, they can see it in that shot. Really good pressure from Samuel March. He came, I saw it live, he came from that regular sweeper position as soon as he saw them setting up for the kick and accelerated in so that he could be the primary chaser to put pressure on that kick. And although it will go down as an unforced error, Well, March was certainly just dialing up a little bit of heat, taking away a little bit of the time for the kicker. Smart work.
Thank you. Good set up, please. Both counts are good. Legs close.
This really is a problem area of the field now for Belgium. We've seen how difficult it's been for them to keep Portugal out so far. For Portugal's opening 2 tries. With a scrum just shy of the 5-metre line. This looks ominous.
Set. Oh.
Those have gone down. The referee is keen for them to use it, and it's going to be under advantage as well. It's slick hands. They can't quite find a way to get Pinto through at the first time of asking, though. Mark says, move out of the way. I'm here. Let's use this. Let's go. Nicolas Martin making the carry. Marks then floating the big one over the top. Oh, and it is the dot down and finish from Pinto. Made it look so easy. Giving it the full DJ celebration there. There we go, lovely. Frickin' fresh.
Into spinning the decks, scoring the tries. This was a really awkward one, that floated ball. And I tell you what, it's Sornen who's defending him. I think he pulls out of the tackle because he doesn't want to hit him in the air. See, because he has to jump for the ball, Pinto, whether Sornen just loses sight of it, loses his awareness of where the ball is. It ended up being a pretty simple finish for Vincent Pinto.
It's an interesting point you make, though. Actually, if you've got someone that is jumping for the ball on the try line, you can't take them in the air. You have to let them down. So, effectively, he recognised his fate at that point, didn't he? And just said, well, I'm going to have to pull out of this. Didn't feel he then had anything to offer in terms of the try-scoring competition. Portugal get themselves up to 19 now.
Once again, March so pivotal. You see there, though, Sornen, he's almost in the tackle. He doesn't really know where the ball is because he's tried to rush up off the line and it's almost come over his shoulder. Tricky to defend there, but I did say how hard it was going to be for Belgium just to try and keep Portugal away from their whitewash. And they weren't able to achieve it.
Hold.
Belgium looking to use all the strength to get through as Hendricks once again pushes as best he can. There from Montoisi. De Frank gets it through to Benoit.
Thank you.
Continue to go the same way, but they've run out of men, so it's well presented by Jeremy Brasseur. Back into the middle, 2 red shirts meet them. Joao Granate, the first one there. Up from Montoisi, it's a good kick coming down outside the 22, but the ball is in one mitt, and Rodrigue Mata getting away, not held, able to get back to his feet, but eventually wrapped up by Dakuma.
Stop, Red.
Portugal up to put boot to ball.
Move back, White.
Belgium encouraged to get themselves back on side. Moura
Advantage penalty.
just flicking it out the back now. Portugal playing under advantage. Marks. Oh, that was an interesting little move. I'm not entirely sure how legal that was from Brasseur raising the boot. I thought a pass may have been coming. Portugal will still be playing with this advantage as it's back in the hands of Martin. Marks is going to follow the referee with this mark.
March was trying to do the classic bit of nines play and drag referee Tevzadze up the field another 20 metres there, but Tevzadze being helped out by his assistants on the touchline. Sornan just getting that one wrong on this occasion. He was on the receiving end of a difficult fall. On this occasion, he was on the ground, and therefore he was responsible and was taking the player out in the air. So that little kicking exchange we saw is going to end with Portuguese line out and another chance for them to launch. And they have looked dangerous. Expect the same again from about 22 out.
First man is good, guys.
Another chance to see the finish from Pinto.
Hold. Ball back.
That's good more defence from Belgium.
Once.
Portugal can't use this anytime soon. This could end up being a turnover, but it looks like they might just have the ball now. Os Lobos.
Tackle away,
Just
tackle
in the
away.
nick of time too.
Back
Fully
four.
wrapped up in Hendricks. And now Marks. Wanted to look and examine the short side. Luka Begic. But now it's a turnover for the Belgians.
That's a great pinch from Berge. He got it in there nice and low. Really smart. With a tight head. He's absolutely done his team a solid, turning that ball over. And just nipping an attack in the bud. Good work. That's the kind of thing, the kick's not probably got the yards it wanted, but at least it's just brought them a bit of breathing space. See whether they'll go up and compete at this line-out.
Portugal with 3 tries on the board.
Stay.
Martins takes it to ground. Get the option of Vasco
Stay
Baptista.
outside, White.
They load again, flick back inside from Appleton. Looking for the options, the pump of the legs from Pinto's already got on the score sheet.
No, pull out.
Martins again. March back in field.
Carry.
Belgians
Rip
having
off,
to be
rip
alert
off.
for wherever it goes, but it's ripped
Go,
by
Hendrick.
Alex Renier in the tackle.
Good work.
Oh, and Belgium, they've lost it on their own line. Oh, it's absolute disaster time. Oh dear, what a mess from the Belgians. What opportunism for Portugal. And they've got themselves the 4th try just after Belgium had rescued the ball away.
Yes, bright smiles from the Portuguese. They know that was opportunism at its very best. Belgium did such a good job of turning the ball over. Renier setting up on the 5-metre line. The pass not great off the base. The ball bouncing back over their own try line, and then it's the red shirts quickest to pounce. Entirely sure the Portuguese players are complaining to the referee about. So I thought the ball wasn't grounded properly, but that is another 7 on the board for Portugal, and all of a sudden that gap has grown once again.
Time is 25.
Jose Rebelo Andrade, the scorer. And Marks adds the extras. Portugal up to 26 now. They've gone back into a position of being double the score the Belgians have. Marks makes the clearance.
Sums up the difference quite nicely. We've seen Belgium were coming back into the game. They got a couple of scores, and then they weren't able to be really smart with their execution once they'd received that kickoff. By contrast there, March has taken that one. No pass, no hit up, just banging it straight back downfield into the Belgian half. It's just smart play.
Inside 5, line out is over. Don't collapse it. Once. Run 4.
At the minute, it would be a bonus point score for Portugal. It's a slightly different bonus point setup in the Rugby Europe Championship. You get a bonus point for scoring 3 tries or more than the opposition. You do get the losing bonus point in similar circumstances of a loss by 7 points or less, but just that slight change in terms of bonus points. So 4 tries to 1, that would be sufficient margin. But of course, plenty of time left in this one yet. 4 minutes to half time.
At least that new rule change doesn't make our maths too much more difficult, Nick. I think we can probably manage that.
Yeah, just at the minute.
Get your abacus out.
I'll make sure that you won't. Keep your hand up, please.
Jadot getting a chance to test himself against David Costa. Front row the same that faced the Scots in Murrayfield in November. They've got themselves a free kick there. Marks has gone off the mark, but now gives it to Costa. Well, everybody cleared themselves over the ball, but nobody thought to bring the ball with them. But then it was there and available for Belgium, and then Portugal go offside. So Belgians will have the penalty. I just wonder what they might look to try and build to in the last couple of minutes of this first half.
Well, I've been singing his praises all half, and he's had a wonderful 37 minutes or so. But Samuel March, they took the quick tap, the referee brought him back, and I always think, I'm of the opinion that if you're not able to go quickly, then don't try and go again, because it's not quick anymore. So you're better off there, slowing it down, but either kicking to touch or setting something up, going for the scrum again, or whatever it is. But because he wasn't able to go the first time, I'm not sure the second one was a good option. And that might have been why it was a bit messy at the breakdowns, given Belgium a chance. And any sort of penalties here just mean they're going into the sheds at half-time from the break, feeling a little bit better. And when there's a discrepancy in the rankings, you do not want to invite a team back into it.
Tackle away, 3.
Jadot, who was still holding on to that ball. Not quite going to open up for Thomas Walraff, earning his 26th cap for Belgium. Floated one over the top. Belgium up to that Portuguese 22 again. The big sell of the dummy nearly worked as well for Montoya. He gets a few more extra metres.
Tackle her away. Ball is here.
Well, certainly at times the Portuguese backline have found the grace and ability to get around this Belgian team. Belgium seem to be a little bit more cohesive in terms of the game plan. Get in this area of the field, they all know exactly what they need to do.
Away, Red.
Can they maintain possession here, given how keen the Portuguese are going to be to get over and try and wrestle this ball away? Continuing to make metres closer and closer to the line. That time it's to Cuba. Rainier.
Roll away one.
Hendricks.
Roll away. Stay
He
outside,
is
Red.
encouraging the Portuguese to roll away. It is Messi in there.
Calling for the ball wide, he's desperate for it.
No hands,
Being
Red.
told by
Release,
the
tackle.
flank, not yet, not yet. They're going to keep it tight.
Jadot was determined to have
Stay
another run
outside,
there.
Red.
Now with Rainier. Forwards determined to try and get there, get through the red wall. It's another low bust. Oh, it's super from Hendricks. Went low, then just lifted his way through the crowd of bodies. Belgium have got their second try. It's all just overcooked a little bit. But what a super effort from the big second row. And this Belgian pack, you have to say, are causing the Portuguese problems in the loose. That is a super score.
Really nice from the big boys. Just really loving the combination. Benoit, Hendricks,
Stay calm, please.
big solid units, and they were getting their leg drive in time and time again in this. And in the end, it is that pairing. 4-5, 4 behind 5, driving him over. Hendricks Not landing just shy of the line, but good presence of mind to reach out. He's got a good reach on him. He's a tall unit. There he goes. It's that little extra shove from behind. That second row partnership. Brilliant work from the big boys up front. The tight five doing the business just before the break.
Well, the conversion is good, and it continues to keep this test match at a very, very interesting place. Hugo de Frank getting the conversion, taking Belgium up to 20 points. The Portuguese 6 ahead of them, but Hendricks getting the score. He was on the score sheet against Poland in last season's Rugby Europe Championship. He was scoring against Paraguay in July on their summer tour. They may well suck in that night air in Lisbon, because they have given a good acquittal of themselves. They had the beating of Portugal a year ago. Los Lobos will have known exactly what was coming for them. Stopping it is another thing. Portugal at times a little less accurate than they might want to be, in Belgium taking every opportunity presented. At half-time, Portugal 26, Belgium 20. Well, Tom, what a half.
Yeah, superb. Just when you think that Portugal had got themselves some breathing space with only 5 or so minutes to go in the break. Really good fight back, good character from Belgium. I'm sure that'll be the talk in the half-time huddles, in the sheds, as they gather themselves. But not just the character shown, some really nice play. And showing that they're a handful. It was the early scores for Portugal caused the problems. Very leaky in the early stages was the Belgian defence, and Portugal scoring at will in the early exchanges. But there was a comeback from Belgium, and they did well. A couple of nudges off the boot of de Frank. A wonderful score for MU off a great break from Torfs. And then that score just before the half from the big boys up front, Hendricks, just closing the gap before the break.
Well, here's a chance to look back at how that first half unfolded then. There was Mora, who was very keen to test that Belgian defence in the first couple of minutes, and getting that first score. And then the second. At this stage we were a little worried. Rodrigo Mata getting over 14 points on the board in pretty quick succession for the Portuguese. But then it was all about how Belgium built their way back into it. Super run from Jens Torfs, the skipper, and how about that, the chicken wing offload, Tom Mitchell.
Love that. The presence of mind when you're moving at that speed to deliver a skill like that is superb. And Belgium needed their skipper to deliver something of that sort of quality at that stage of the game. Torfs putting it on a platter for MU, who slid over. It was at this point that once again Portugal got up into their flow. A lovely ball floated over the top from Marques. A bit of confusion from Cernan in defence, which just allowed Pinto to get the dot down in the corner. Lovely weight on the pass, just staying inside the white lines here at the Estadio do Restelo. And then this was just an absolute gift from Belgium, losing the handle just on the line, and Portugal pouncing in the big frame of Rebelo de Andrade.
See 10 points from the boot of de Frank. Marques has got 6 for the Belgians. But those last 2 points came from de Frank after this effort, burrowing his way through from Maximilian Hendricks. As much as the backs were clapping for it and fancied a go, the forwards were determined to be the ones to finish this, and they did.
power up front and just relentlessness as well. The backs were pretty keen to get a sniff of that ball, but it was all forwards.
Welcome back to Lisbon. The Rugby Europe Championship for 2025 is well and truly underway this weekend. Earlier matches seeing Romania beating Germany by 48 points to 10, a record score by the Lelos. Germany running out against Switzerland by 110 points. Yes, read it and weep. And Portugal, well, they are leading the Belgians by 26 points to 20, running out to an early 14 points to nil lead, to then be reeled back into 14-13, then going out to 26-13, and Belgium reeling them in again. So 6 points between the two sides. Our last match of the weekend, well, that will be Spain against the Netherlands, that one taking place tomorrow. Top four in the semi-finals of the Rugby Europe Championship 2025 will qualify for that Rugby World Cup in Australia in 2027. As the players come out to rejoin us. Tom, how much do you think the different placings in the World Rugby rankings, 16th and 28th, and perhaps the semi-pro nature of these sides is going to affect them when it comes to the latter stages of this game and fatigue?
Yeah, I mean, it always does, Nick. You pointed at something that we have seen time and time again, but I do think Belgium in a slightly different spot from where they've been in previous years. There are a lot of these guys who are playing over in Côte d'Ivoire in France or the National in France. And they're playing at a high level all the time, so fitness levels and ability to maintain across the 80 are perhaps better than we've seen in previous seasons when a lot of their players have been playing slightly lower level in the Belgian league. There's only 3 players who are training full-time in the Belgian league, and they're all set to come off the bench. So that could be the problem, as I mentioned briefly in the first half, is when the changes are brought, how do they match up? We should wait and see. There'll be a bit of rugby to play before that, I suspect. I can't see Belgium making any changes soon, and Portugal will really want to start off and assert themselves. As you say, when you're the team ahead on the rankings, you've got to be seen to be doing the business.
Second half underway then. In Pool B. Portugal will go on to play Germany and Romania. Germany at home, Romania away.
Use it! 2!
Romania at home and Germany away for the Belgians.
Good work at the start of the opener for Belgium. They got it wrong a couple of times on their kickoff receipt early on in the first half, which allowed Portugal to go out to a 14-0 lead. Now the game's tight.
Oh, handling error from Marks at the line out. Belgium unable to wrestle possession back, but they will have the scrum, and Marks boots the ball away, frustrated with himself there. He is a better player than that.
I did wonder whether that was going to be a long arm penalty from the referee, because it looked like Jose Madeira dived on this, who was in front of Marks, I thought.
I guess you're absolutely right.
But maybe one...
That was a penalty in the first half.
Yeah, Marks was getting a talking to because he kicked the ball away, so maybe that was the distraction.
Crouch!
Isaac Montoisi, Belgian scrum half.
Yeah, he was at every single flyaway in the base, pretty much. childhood club mates with his outside half de Frank.
Tackle! Release!
Played a bit of rugby in Australia as well. Montoya is going to have to be really getting energy up his forwards, get them really sending some clout up the middle against Portugal.
Oh, no, 9.
A delicate tap forward from de Frank, but it's going to be sent back with a bit of interest, but Montoya was well placed. We're getting this little bit of aerial ping-pong now, or are we? The little change of accent from Bento, who decided to run it, but was then well met defensively. Marks wants to keep it alive and keep it down that side. It went to Martins, but couldn't be held by Marta.
That's a great shot comes in here. Bento decides to run. I think it's a good call. Oh, it's the back row. It's Takube, gets in, nice and low, leg drive. Actually sits Bento back on his bottom. Delightful hit. Really good defence from Belgium against a dangerous back three from Portugal. Really good at running from deep. And lost the line out.
Hold.
Marks goes aerial. It's a really good take from de Frank. Marks has flown out the blocks to get the chase on as well from that pass for the kick.
Move back, Reds, move back. Good.
Quite nicely for remove from Cernan. And he's lost it.
Tackle!
Martins
No hand.
getting hold of it. Takuba told to get out. It's a real mess.
You need to release. You need to release. Tackle of the ball.
Not sure if I agree with the referee, Tevsad say that. Thought that looked like a fair clean out. We'll have another look on the replay if we're lucky. Thought Portugal had left that ruck a little bit unattended. I think it was Van Bost coming through, staking his claim at that contact area, but nevertheless, penalised.
Keep the gap, guys.
So initially, it was Takube who was told to get away from that tackle. Never know. We'll back Tevsad said.
Absolutely.
Stay.
I've always been one to side with the referee.
It's a very healthy place to be, I would find. Certainly doing his best to communicate with the players on his 15th international, or 16th I should say. That was a little untidy and uncharacteristic from Thomas Appleton.
Inside.
Put it through from Bento. It is in that Portuguese 22. Belgian, I should say. They're going to be under a fair bit of pressure here.
Here. 9, use it!
Long outstretched foot of Takuba, just giving a little bit more protection for Montoya to make that box kick clearance, and it's a decent one.
It's a decent one. They've looked really polished. You mentioned it in the first half, Nick. Just some of their processes, some of the structures. It sort of belies the relatively little time that they've had together. And they've had some camps and they've had a warm-up game for preparing for this Rugby Europe Championship. But really, comparatively, they haven't spent a lot of time together as a unit, especially compared to some of the combinations in this Portugal side.
Well, there is a combination that's worked beautifully. It was Lima coming through the gap. That was absolutely superb. Try scored by Marta. Or was it? Yeah, it was Marta in the end who came through, wasn't it? But it was Lima who made the dart through the hole. And it just opened up.
It's classic tracking from the winger from Marta, who bags his second. It was a nicely worked bit of play from Portugal. Lima directing him to the try line. I don't think Marta needs any instruction. He's been there enough times. But it was the ball player having multiple options at the line which created that. There was options outside and out the back, but it was the one inside to Jose Lima that did the damage. And here are some changes. First of the match. They're going to be in the front row in the way of goodbye to Has Ferreira. He's going to have a rest.
Yeah, Anthony Alves will come on. Conversion from Marks has taken it to 33-20 now.
Use 9.
Oh, beautifully tapped back in field. That was done nicely by Pinto.
Take out, release.
Belgians had their hand on the ball. Then it was, in theory, stripped, but it's remained on the Portuguese side. Benoit told to get in and provide a little bit more protection once again for Isaac Montoisi. Tap back on the Portuguese side once more. Moura. Marks, the one over the top, trying to just thread it into the 22. That'll work nicely. Not going to be much time for Simon Sermon to do anything quickly.
It's a lovely option and really well executed as well from Marks. It's a technique that you see nines employing all the time, something that they practice all the time now in the modern game. It's not just the clearance box kicks or the up and unders, it's that little rollover kick where you kick the edge of the ball so you get the roll into the 22. Really good display of that from March.
Good reaction times from Alex Rainier. His opposite number has just switched with Cody Thomas, the South African-born Grenoble hooker, coming on for Portugal. It's a very decent nudge, that one.
That was really smart, wasn't it? A good spot for Rainier just jumping in, because otherwise they could have been in more trouble. So you get a few better feelings than sliding into the feet of your teammates who are down in the try zone warming up. Sure of a warm welcome there, as Marta was for a second try, and to give Portugal a bit of breathing space once again, but good steal from Belgium. They're not out of it.
Yeah, Marta looked for all the money like he was going to win that line out, but the Belgians had something else to say about it.
Take her away, Red!
To Cuba, but they've come back to the short side. That's the smaller blindside man.
Stay.
By Jens Torfs.
Carried in.
The referee's just reminding them that it was carried in. It's been kicked from outside the 22 regardless. In danger of just opening up here. De Frank looking for that far corner, but they've opted to take the mark and they'll tap and go with it quickly from inside the 22. Belgium are going to take the line out quickly. De Frank under pressure, coming down on the 10-metre line now. Is this going to create a little bit of room for Portugal to attack? Kicking the ball away again. Walraff plays it back in field. Need to be careful here because Cernan has run out of road, and the knock-on. Portugal are going to get that net result of the scrum, and there's a few daggers being shown, being sent to each other by the eyes there in the Belgian back three, and also Montoisi there.
Well, there's a few kickers who might have found themselves in the docks. There was pretty poor execution on a couple of those. I think it was De Frank who put one up. It might have been Remu. It was just too long on the up and under. And it gave Marta too much time to spot that backfield in behind Walraff, who'd come up on the chase. And by the time Warford got back to it, he was desperate to dish it off to his mate Cernan, who found himself in an absolute world of trouble. And then trying to get himself out of said trouble has landed them and his whole team in the deep stuff.
Point. Set. Hold.
Must have been in danger of watching the Caden Murley school of clearing your lines for anybody that was watching the Ireland-England game earlier. Oh, that was really untidy from Portugal.
It's disappointing for Portugal. I mean, we have mentioned the big tournament on the horizon in the Rugby World Cup, and albeit a while away, all these teams will essentially be trying to build towards that point, particularly Portugal, who will see their place there as not as a given, but certainly after some of the performances out in France in 2023, they will see it as their right to be there. And so all of these performances will be judged at that level, rather than perhaps some of the teams they're playing in this championship. And stuff like that is really not good enough. There's a few echoes, Nick, casting the clock back to last year's final against Georgia, where they coughed up some mistakes that just meant they fell out of that contest.
That's a really good point. They certainly became everybody's second favourite team at World Cup 2023, but in order to mix it at the top table, you've got to show that you've earned the right to be there and can put in the sorts of performances and accuracy that it requires, and we've not entirely seen that from Portugal this afternoon. Let's not be too negative. They are 5 tries to the good, and with this 13-point advantage over Belgium, but if they've got higher aspirations, they just need to tighten some of these little loose areas up, don't they? 33 points to 20.
Hold strong, step to left, turn around. First man is very good, guys, keep the gap.
That's a good shove from Belgium. They'll be really pleased with that, because
keep the gap, guys, keep the gap.
Is a strong one. They've made one change, but it was hardly a change, bringing on a weaker player with Alves stepping in.
Belgium's unable to secure the line out, so Portugal will go on a bit of a run again. Marta looking to get through some work coming in from the wing. It's loose again though from Portugal, and Belgium will try and put the pressure on here. Oh, looked to step back and only found Celeste Berge.
Hey, relax, guys.
Looks to put a little bobbling grubber through, and we've got a little bit of fisticuffs going on the floor. Hendricks getting himself well acquainted with Luka Begic.
Luka Begic losing out on a bit of the reach in that contest, I think. Shouldn't take on Hendricks. He looks like he'd dish you up in a heartbeat.
Hey, number 2.
Well, while we were watching the scuffle,
I don't want to see that again, please.
March put a lovely kick in again, this time opting for the low grubber, threading the needle through the gap.
Time is off. Yeah.
Touched by a Belgian player as well, so it's going to be their throw-in. Really nice again from the scrum half. And he has just been such a steady influence throughout this game. Just nice little interventions.
Well, we've now got an intervention from Josep Chaparidze, who I think a signal to Shota Tevzadze. But there's something worth having a look at over on the monitor.
So I'm at the screen. So we are checking number 1, white.
So this might be the moment he turned back into Berge.
Slow motion are coming.
I think there would be a bit of mitigation there, because there's a sudden change of direction.
Yeah. So we have clear upright tackle by white, and there is a head contact. So it's a foul play for me.
Yeah, I agree.
You agree? Squarak or squarak? Do we have different angles?
It's a best angle to see. Okay.
Okay.
Can we see a camera for us? 2. I'm older, Jamie. This is the best angle shot.
Okay, so this is upright tackle by number 1 white. Clear direct contact to the head.
I agree.
But I see clear step by ball
Yes.
carrier. That's a clear mitigation for me. Degree of danger is high, but we have clear mitigation. So it will be a yellow card against
Okay.
number 1 white.
Okay. I am agree with you. Agree.
Also.
Agree with you.
Okay, just
Sounds like the right decision, Tom Mitchell.
Isaris centridan.
Yeah, I did fear
Right.
somewhat for
Portugal is
I thought there was a high degree of danger. You could hear Tevzadze, referee Shota Tevzadze saying that, but really good call on the mitigating factor. The step was so good, the change direction was so sharp that it almost caught him by surprise.
Number 1.
And as a result, there's no time.
So you
to
can choose penalty there, or it's your line out there.
So I think this is a nice call from the referee, a well-managed.
There was upright
decision.
tackle by number 1. It was clear upright tackle, direct contact to the head. But ball carrier made a side step. That's a clear mitigation, and it's yellow card. Okay. Captain.
Well, he certainly bowed his head and taken his punishment, Shelesti Bergay.
No, line out. Penalty. Okay, line out.
Discipline-wise, they certainly have been putting pressure on Portugal, but
line out for Portugal.
Did concede a competition-high 9 yellow cards in 5 matches in last season's competition.
Time is off.
I hope
Number
that's the only
who's
one
coming
in
off.
this game.
Guys,
Bergay
time
then
is off, guys.
off for 10 minutes. The Belgians down to 14.
Okay. We play on. Time on.
Matas. Marks. Then it was there for Appleton. Belgians are struggling to get round the side and defend this. The numbers are there when it just got untidy for a moment, but now it's going to be Mora to just run all the way through. Be interested just to have a little look at the grounding from Mora there. I think he's got it. He nearly lost it.
Yeah, I think you're right, Nick. I did the same thing. He just grabbed it and regathered before he put it down, but saw it open up for him. Loose play again. Went backwards. It was a bouncing ball. Mora scooped it up, turned around, saw a straight shot under the sticks. And I think from that replay, did manage to hold on to the ball. No issues there. Well grounded in the end from Joris Mora, who gets his second try. And early on into this Sinbin scenario, it's a damaging score for Belgium to have conceded. March gets another one, another 2 off the boot for him.
10 points for the boot to Samuel March. 6 tries on the board. Portugal get themselves up to 40, and it is just one of those. Often when you see that loose ball, suddenly everybody is wondering which way the play is going to go, and it will just suddenly open up, and that's what we've seen there. Mora gets in for his second, having scored the opener. And we saw Portugal with double the Belgian tally at 26-13. Well, they've got themselves back there at 40 points to 20.
Time off.
One fight back in this game after the opening exchanges, Belgium. What a challenge to have to do that multiple times throughout the 80, especially when you're down a man. They are going to make some changes, and I suspect Coach Laurent Dossat will be making these changes with a view to trying to stem the flow, or at least provide a little injection of energy. His coaches will utilise their substitutions in a range of different ways, and tactically how you play it is always up for debate. And I think in this scenario, it's about how can you add some energy when the boys might be flagging a little bit. They've just conceded a couple, they're down to 14 men. You need these boys to come off the bench and just add a little bit of spark, a little bit of bite to their game.
With Belgium, Jens Tors is the man who tried to dummy it away from the base, but just got dragged into it. Then it's William van Bost with the carry. And there is one of those replacements, Jean-Baptiste de Klerk. There was a little shift in the front rows, a late change.
Roll away 6.
with Verelst coming in. They weren't entirely sure they were going to find a number 18 to put on the back of Jean-Baptiste de Klerk, but they managed to. De Frank.
Not entirely sure those shorts were meant for him, de Klerk. They look a bit boardy style, aren't they?
Seems to be a running theme on a few of the
No hands,
front
red.
rowers in the Belgian side.
Maybe it's the style.
Continuing to
these
pick
days.
into the heart of this Portuguese side. Hendricks, who was the try scorer when they got themselves to the line
No hands.
right at the end of that first half. Certainly an area that's asking questions of Simon Mannix's side.
Stay. Advantage offside.
And they're still
Number
making
7
meters,
offside.
and now they've got an advantage with Portugal offside.
Number 7. In the zero.
Martins the man.
Okay, close.
Lung-busting stuff from the Belgians.
Close.
You see Florian Remy coming in there just to try and
Yeah.
share the energy, wasn't he?
Yeah, you love that. I mean, so much of the work is being done up front for Belgium. They're getting a bit of change there, but it is grunt work and it's grueling. You see Hendricks spraying himself down with the water, trying to suck in the air. You need your backs who've been chilling out wide to come in and share some of that energy and enthusiasm. I'm going to try and pop over the three.
Offside.
De Frank with the penalty.
Okay.
Belgium up to 23, Portugal 40.
Okay. Number
It's
2,
probably
number
still
2
quite
and
a good
number
tactic to
7.
pop the three over there. We're wondering whether they might go for the scrum or set up a tap play. Would have been tempting.
Number
worth
2,
remembering
number 13, number
This is,
11.
of course, a campaign in and of itself. This only round 1 of this year's Rugby Europe Championship, so there's a bit of process, there's a bit about
and 11.
building. I wonder if that's in the minds of these teams, whether they're on the winning or the losing side on the scoreboard as they go through these matches. It's about taking steps on the ladder
Time on.
so that they progress as they go through the competition.
Just not quite able to regather the restart.
Yeah, what do you mean?
Maybe a bit of a let-off for Belgium now. Taking that one
Number
pretty
13,
clean.
red. Sub.
And a bit of a competition.
Yeah, we go, guys. We go.
And familiar,
Oh, okay.
Manuel Cardoso Pinto.
Time off.
Simon Mannix likes bringing him
Diogo.
off the bench,
Belgium need a prop.
and he's a dangerous man to add in proceedings, especially at this stage of the game when it might start to break up a little bit more. Portugal
Yeah,
blessed
replacing-
with dangerous players in the back three.
Replacing Jose Lima.
Number 4, number
Jose
14.
Pinto played the Under-20s trophy 2017 and 2018.
He's off
And
already.
we've also
Yeah.
seen the replacement, Pedro Vicente, onto the field.
Time on. Knock on red, scrum white. That's the mark. A bit close.
Manuel Cardoso Pinto is off to Peñarol Club in Uruguay
Stay on the mark, guys.
after this championship. Players trade in South America. A bit of a change up for him.
Crouch.
Diego Pinheiro
Fine.
onto an 8th cap for Portugal as well.
Set.
As the changes are rung. A new front row with Cody Thomas now in there. That's really broken up.
No,
Replacement
no hand,
putting that
red, no
pressure
hand,
on, and
nine.
then you can
Thank
see
you.
Marks absolutely terrorising the Belgians on the floor. Into the final quarter of the match. Torst with little option other than to carry it direct.
No hands. Okay. Wrong way.
Become a penalty.
18, wrong side.
Belgians
Wrong
just
side,
ultimately
not to number
relying
9.
on the Portuguese being a little too hungry and going in illegally. Fortunately for Portugal, they could rely on them doing that and get themselves a penalty and a little more time to make this clearance.
It's Anthony Alves lying on the wrong side of that one. And I'm pretty sure that Montoisi made sure the referee saw it that way. And that is just a nice, easy out for Belgium. And I mentioned processes, so important they're able to exercise some launches with the change in personnel. Maintain some continuity, line out, scrum time. They've set up a nice maul here, sort of driving up towards the touchline.
Was that knock forwards in the tackle?
Knock on in the tackle. Knock on in the tackle, scrum wide.
The referee answering you exactly.
A little more. Yes, he was, wasn't he?
I did wonder if when it first happened, I thought we might be seeing a bit of yellow here, but it was very tight.
Let's go.
Interesting one, because if that had gone away and the pass had gone to hand, I think they were away down that 5-metre channel.
Well, yeah, hence the question.
Just wait for the signals.
Given the benefit of the doubt, anyway. Alexis Kuffer has replaced Renier. Maxime Vaquier on for Florian Renu. He's had a good game.
Hold.
In from Montoisi. Carried away by Van Bost. Montoisi gets it back. Wanted to take on the challenge of Marks and Mora. Horst is now in playing scrum half.
Carried in.
Nick, we won't get another look at it, but they missed an absolute opportunity down the short side there. If 8 had picked, there was absolutely no one covering the short side, and the scrum had tilted that way, so they would have had a good free run down the touchline. So a little bit of a shame, wasn't it? A bit more of a heads-up play there.
Belgium. Chance to come again. Van Bost. Still down to 14 players, of course. It's a lovely floated ball, but it just wasn't going to go to hand. Simon was just a little bit too deep, Simon Cernan.
10 minutes.
I think it was the right option to try and float one out there.
Number 5, wide.
Again, coming back on.
No. Yeah,
He's had his 10 minutes rest.
All good now, Diogo. Time on.
Key time to try and strike now, Belgium.
Let's go, guys.
Got a chance to attack, got possession. Oh no, they haven't, they're defending. Correction.
End of the evening
They
for
need to try and keep the tempo up.
Max Hendricks. What a contribution he's made. Out the back from Marks. Portugal almost deciding to go under the Belgian midfield. And they've done a super job of lifting the ball away here. Now they get it out to Walrath. Tackled by Appleton.
Oh, yeah.
Cramp starting to set in with a few of the Belgians.
Okay.
Maurice Fromont into the field in replacement for Hendricks.
Okay.
Montoisi, bit of a floated ball for de Klerk, just allowed the Portuguese defence to come up on the replacement front rower. But now they've got a little bit more depth and the chance to just thread it into the 22.
Move back, Red. Move back.
Flung back in field from De Frank. Vaquier. He sat down his first man. Portugal trying to go quickly from that ruck, or Belgium, I should say, just trying to catch that Portuguese defence. Van Bost, good footwork to get past the first tackle. This late on in the game, still got the ballet pumps on. De Cuba. One way and then the other, but has then lost it forwards. It's a chance for Portugal to strike. Kicking it deep, absolutely nobody back there. Where's the ball going to bounce? Bounced up for March, but he couldn't get hold of it. And now it's completely open for Cernan to wallop it downfield. We've got another chase on. And he's found himself putting all the right pressure on. Then it's the 10-on-10 tackle. Portugal with some real work to do on their line here, Tom Mitchell. Oh, the ball's popped out. Nobody can keep hold of it. That was a certain try.
From the rack, and then there was a knock on.
Pick the bones out of that.
Well, I'm afraid I'm not going to pick up anything from the interactions between the referee and his assistants. But it looked for all money like
into in goal, then grounding.
Had a chance to get a score there. The ball popped out of the ruck under tremendous pressure from the chasing Belgian players. I don't know how it comes out. I think it's play on that.
Behind the kicker, behind the kicker.
Maybe that ball was still in that ruck when he tried to gather it.
Hugues Bastin just a little too overexcited in trying to score it. His own centrifugal force just sending the ball flying. Portugal with the line under a lot of pressure from the Belgians, who have been very decent in that area. Good carry that time from Alves. Oh, they've lost it. Coming forwards now is Froment for Belgium. This is an area of the field where the Belgians have absolutely loved to play.
Go ahead, 12.
Big men love to take a metre or two. There for Kuba, picks up, accompanied by Benoit.
Tackle!
Can they get the ground? Yes, they can. Where's the ball from a Belgian perspective?
Ball is here. No hands, Red. Release. No, you were a tackler, mate.
Froment latches on as they try and drive towards that line. Another chance to go, but they lose their footing. Penalty advantage. The man who was in the bin, Berge, is in there as well. They try and drive, can they get the ball to ground to reload again? They are under the advantage, so we'll come back. Either way, now they go for the line. Can the referee see a ball on the floor there? Not yet. Oh, that might have been. Referee wasn't quite in the position to have spotted it.
Not releasing here.
Coming back for the penalty.
Offside.
Just wonder whether the TMO is allowed to come in and say, actually, I think I might have spotted a score there.
Yeah, within it, I would have been going. I would have making a big thing of that if I was in a white jersey.
Decision, guys.
It's very, very close to the whitewash. Actually, that man in shot.
Time off.
Jean-Baptiste de Klerk got very close himself. He's a hard man to bring down. Powerful unit. Good from close range. And by the looks of things, they're going to set up and have another crack.
No, it was
this is the one that gets close.
I saw it as a tackle.
No,
wait.
Maybe not. From that angle,
Time is off.
It looked like a good bit of defensive work, in fairness.
Yeah, I'd like to see it from the first angle again, but it's academic. Belgium with the tap and go. And Toysey off to the right. This is not so much about victory just yet, but Belgians could edge away once again and pull themselves right back into this contest. Still getting closer to the line. Absolutely not accepting that they'll be stopped. And it's the try. It's Jean-Baptiste de Klerk. And what a display that was from Belgium. Super score.
And not for the first time in this game. The Belgian pack have shown they can really mix it up front. Jean-Baptiste de Klerk looks like he needs a rest. he got through a huge amount of work in the passenger play beforehand, carrying meters, and he gets his reward. Really good leg drive, carries a couple of defenders who are hanging off his shorts. Trundles over the line. Good score, and I tell you what, they've been impressive, especially close range. The Belgian pack have looked ruthless with their carries, just going time and time again.
De Klerk with the try. De Frank with the conversion. Takes his personal tally up to 15. It's a 10-point game.
Wait for the kick, guys.
3 tries on the board for the Belgians. Down, and it's back in the hands of the visitors.
Advantage for knock-on.
Will be a scrum to the Belgians.
Number 9 and 10, red. Time
So
is
Sam
off.
Marks and Joris Mora are going to be replaced.
Time back on. Knock-on here.
Yeah, they look like a really good combo, despite having only played together a couple of times now. Last time was in that 2023 qualifier, I believe.
Nice.
Of course, Sam Marks just so experienced. For me, he has just steadied the ship all the way through. And these opening games are never easy. They're never straightforward. You're playing a fired-up Belgian side who are sniffing victories above their station. But throughout, March has been really strong. And I think for me, he has been the pick of the bunch, not only from this team in red, but from the whole match.
Belgium coming forwards again. Van Bost
Use 9.
on Toysey, looking to get Berge out of the way.
Move back.
Back into the air it goes. Lovely take from De Frank.
Tackle.
Kicked over. Not taken on the mark in the 22.
Inside. Yeah. Yeah, it's inside.
Replacement scrum half.
Use.
Just checking that it was still inside in terms of making the box kick clearance.
Stay on side.
It's all about managing these minutes now for Portugal and not allowing Belgium to come in and make this a really tense last couple of minutes. They want to keep that 10-point advantage, but clearance isn't too generous to the Belgians. They'll be keen to try and strike from here.
It's the mark here.
It's a bit of fatigue littered amongst, but a great shot there. Isaac Montoise's smiling. He's got a bit of excitement and a bit of energy left. He's been roaming. His meters will be through the roof in this game.
Same
Belgium, they're within distance here. So much so that their danger man can pile in. It's not just the boys at the front getting in there.
Oh, look at the motor going. Got themselves up to the 5-metre line from a line-out that was on the 22. They've got a penalty advantage as well, going in search of this losing bonus with enough time on the clock. Should they get a try here to go for even more?
hands, tackle, release.
Can they find a way through? 5 minutes on the watch. Penalty is blown.
Rogamo with this trap that was there.
I thought he was saying they needed to release in that ruck.
Okay.
Could have meant this penalty would be
Number 4.
right up on the 5-metre line. Someone's going to have a talking to here.
There was a maul. After break-up, it was the same maul, very quick maul. Number 4 goes from the side, collapses it. dangerous attack, that's a yellow card.
Going to be a yellow card for Jose Madeira. So Portugal are going to have to do the last 5 minutes down to 14 players.
4 left.
Great fight back from the Belgians, and I'll tell you what, I was getting excited. I saw our man
From the
Jean-Baptiste
side and
Leclerc
collapse.
lining up at the back of that ruck. Thought he was going to go over for another one. 5-metre specialist.
Well, the Belgians have kicked
The
this one
speed
into
of
the
that
corner.
ball.
Come close.
Yes, do the same again, boys. It's got to be the call. Try and execute. Good first job is to get the line out. Got to catch, gather, and come down and get set in this maul, and they've done it.
Well, they have, and now it's brought to ground. Is that illegally? So the referee thinks so. I wonder at what point he might consider anything more than just another penalty or another yellow card.
Stay on side, Reds.
Whether it could be the big 7-pointer, but Belgium will back their forwards on these pick and goes. Oh, and they'll drag each other to try and get there. That might be a good position for a turnover, which it would be had we not been under penalty advantage. Montoya wants to know where we're going, but is this going to be another yellow? We're on time off once more.
Captain.
Jens Torf's calming down his troops. He's talking about going for a scrum.
Penalty numbers are in.
They're fired up, Jens. Let him go.
Now you're collapsing as well. Listen, it was number 4, 5. No, it was more clear, man. Just listen to me. The fact that you have yellow card does not mean that you won't get another one. Have a word with them, you have 30 seconds, okay?
Can I?
Yeah.
Well, the referee's saying just because you've just received one yellow card doesn't mean you might not receive another. I mean, it's almost gone on against his own word there, because you feel that there should have been a yellow for that last more collapse, if that's what he's viewed it as, but that's certainly
Number 20.
a reminder and another last warning. Hugo de
it's a
Frank
really
puts
good
this
point,
into the corner.
Yeah, great shout. I think the difference was it was really clear-cut for the previous one, where he sent Madeira to the bin. It was also dangerous. But anyway, here we roll. And here comes that maul.
Cooper again. Punches above his weight. Portugal just haven't had much answer to the Belgian forwards all evening in Lisbon. Can they get themselves in a position to get a losing bonus point and any more in this game? Held up and driven back from the line on that occasion. Is it enough of a held up? No, it's short. But it is now the decision is held up. Oh, heartbreak for the Belgians.
Held, not grounded.
A little bit of kidology going on there as Benoit comes forwards. Don't think he likes the look of how that one finished up.
Goal line dropout.
Goal line dropout. So cool. Well, it was de Klerk again. He gets really close. Referee's in a great spot. Shota Tevzadze. Oh, you wouldn't want to get any closer to the mixer than that than he already is. He's got his eyes right in there. So I think he would have seen it if that ball had gone down.
Goal line dropout. Is it going to allow anybody to just run this back yet? Portugal know they've got to be squeaky clean here. They've already had a warning.
Use 9.
Round the corner comes Kuffalo. Not going to go to him. Little ball back in field. David Muric. Toysi's had a good game. Oh, he's had a little snipe himself. Doesn't want to get too isolated here. Manages to get it placed back. A minute and a half remaining on the watch. Becomes less about
Stay on side,
the opportunity to win the game, but certainly the opportunity to try and get a bonus point from it. It would be no less than the Belgians deserve. De Cuba slipped through one tackle. The quick picking and going. Montoya not quite able to get through. Van Bost is there, as is De Cuba, making the break towards the post. Then another pick and go.
Stay on side,
It's relentless from the Belgians. Berge, oh, goes so close. Has he lost it? They go for the line this time. Held up once again. Portuguese defence working in overtime here, and the Belgians cannot believe they haven't got the score.
Dukube, I think, just held up, and he carried about 4 or 5 times, I think, in that passage. Relentless from the Belgians, you've got to say.
Come on, it's right, man.
That's it to
It's
the
right.
Portuguese.
You are substituted. You need to stay there, okay? Please. Time on. 40 seconds left.
And the referee confirming we've got 40 seconds remaining. It's another wobbly old restart. A final thrust for Belgium. Looking to try and get those post-contact meters working. Montoisi off to the right. Dukube again. Worked so hard. Trying to find time for Tom Mitchell to give us his player of the match, which he would love to do, but time is continuing to tick. Muric.
Time is over.
The referee confirms it.
Use it.
Bergame. Portugal just want to try and get the ball back here and clear it. Ball is loose. Had to be taken in by Montoisi. Needs his teammates now over him to help bring this back, which they do. Desperate carries for meters, but they're getting a little more careless with the placement of the ball. Not opting to put too much width on it, are they, the Belgians? And is that a turnover? Not quite. Another good carry from Bergame. Looked like hands went beyond the ball there for a moment, but the referee is going to reward the turnover. Portugal have got themselves out of jail here. They've got the advantage on the scoreboard in terms of tries scored for a bonus point. But most importantly, they've denied the Belgians getting anything from this game. Appleton will clear the ball to touch. The clock in the red. And the Portuguese have redeemed themselves from a year ago, despite an almighty scare once again from the Belgians, who unfortunately for them will go away from this game without a single point. But what a performance we've seen from them. 15 points to the boot of De Frank, and 3 tries on the board from the Belgians. 6 tries all in all from Portugal. And perhaps now we see the match draw to a close. Tom Mitchell, you can confirm to us your player of the match.
Well, I was fast having to readjust my decision towards the end there. I was getting really drawn in to what the Belgians were doing. They were threatening, but all in all, Portugal able to steady the ship, and the main man in doing so, the man at the helm throughout, was the number 9 for Portugal, the steady head, Samuel March, and he has been fantastic, and he is my player of the match for this opening round 1 competition between Portugal and Belgium.
Samuel March then, Portuguese scrum half, getting the nod as our player of the match. There will be an interview with the player of the match to enjoy. What a game we've seen, though. And you are going to feel for the Belgians going away from this one without anything.
They'll take a fair bit from it in terms of recognising where their strengths are. I think they looked well when they're in that sort of structured play. They look really organised in certain elements of the game. But the real firepower comes when they keep it tight and they just go up front. Some of those big boys, good carry, good support, but a little bit loose in that last passage, so that penalty always looked a little bit inevitable. They showed moments throughout that game where tight 5 in particular were really tough to handle.
Two tries from Joris Moura, the fly half, 2 from Rodrigo Marta. Pinto getting himself on the score sheet, as did Jose Rebelo Andrade. We mentioned 10 points from the boot of Samuel March. For Belgium, well, it was 15 points to the boot of De Frank to go with. First half tries from Remu and Hendricks. 6 points the gap at half-time, as it's selfie time for the officials. And then de Klerk, the replacement, getting on the scoreboard to make it that 10-point game at the end. But it is a Portuguese night in Lisbon. We'll have some reaction coming for you very shortly, as Thomas Appleton, you can see, offering some concluding words to his teammates. Their next game will no doubt be a slightly easier affair. They're at home to Germany before they're on the road against Romania. The man in charge of Belgium, though, can be pretty pleased, Laurent Dossat, with his charges efforts. Some happy home fans, no doubt. Belgium certainly given them plenty to think about, Tom.
Yeah, they certainly did. They weren't about to. The impressive thing was as well that they came back a couple of times throughout that game when they could well have rolled over. And when the gap on the scoreboard just extends beyond a couple of scores, that's when teams can really fade into the distance. But not Belgium. The Black Devils really stayed in it, showed good fight. And alongside some of the tactical work and the technical work that they displayed tonight, they'll certainly be buoyed by some of the character and some of the tightness they will have had as a team as well. I think they'll have high hopes for this year's Rugby Europe Championship. They'll certainly be eyeing their highest finish. And if they can perform like they did tonight, then they'll put themselves in a good position.
Yeah, absolutely. World Cup 2027 qualification as part of the journey of this year's Rugby Europe Championship for 2025. For the Belgians, well, they will next be at home against Romania. They've got a trip on the road to their European neighbours, Germany. They'll be pleased in terms of their discipline during that game. A much more composed performance from them over the course of the full 80. And we are just waiting to get you a little bit of post-match reaction, so do bear with us. Well, we've got plenty of the Six Nations sides moving around Europe and close to freezing temperatures. Not too bad to be able to pop down to Lisbon, enjoy a slightly balmier evening. All right, let's get some reaction then down pitch side after this one. Portugal defeating Belgium by 40 points to 30.
Samuel, congratulations. You are the player of the match today. How was the game? Are you satisfied with the result?
Yes. Sorry for my bad English. Yes, the result is good for us because we win with a bonus point, but we need work.
Thank you for your time. Thank you.
No, I'm not waiting. No, I'm not.
Tenemos al de Portugal que está dando los huevos. ¿Lo quieres o no? Vale, go.
Simon, what are your feelings after that victory?
Very happy to get 5 points to start the championship with 5 points. I think that's very important. Very disappointed with a lot of aspects of the game. We need to look at ourselves, get our attitudes better for next week and be much better in the contact. We can play rugby, everybody knows that, but we've got to be tougher. Tonight was too soft.
What made the difference that led you to success today?
Well, our ability to play is always there, but we need to defend as well. We need to get better.
Thank you for your time. Thank you.
Well, Simon Mannix talking very much about how they need to get better defensively. Certainly showed that they've got plenty going forwards through their forwards. Let's get some more.
What are your thoughts after that game? Where can you improve?
It's a very tough loss. Congrats to Portugal, they played a very good game and they made us show where we leak, where we need more to work on. Because every time we had the ball in our half, in our 22, we got twice against us, points against us, so that's something we really have to work on. Offensive, in the contact, our forwards did a really big job today to keep us staying in the game and make Portugal doubt at times, so that's very good. Offensively, we made them really work hard. So that's a very good point for us, and I'm happy with that.
What will be important to work for next week's match?
Yeah, exactly. Like I said, like getting the ball out of our half and have to put the pressure more on the other team sides. We know Portugal is a very good counter-attacking team, and they're very good with the ball in hands. They're very dominant. But when we had the ball, we were very strong. So we need to keep our positive points and then get into next week.
Thank you for your time. Thank you.
Só 5.
Nada a ver.